Guys, are we ready to do this? Theme number 2. Andrea said she was teaching piano and every one of her students wanted to play it. I bet that was the song to play for sure. All right, folks, this is what we're doing. So, yesterday, if you were with me for 3 Themes at 3, you were taught how to make the whirligig block for those who've never done it before. The whirligig block. Kind of a take off of a pinwheel, but just a little bit wonkier. So fun. So I've seen, and I showed you a few quilts yesterday of some whirligig block quilts that were made over and over again, same block over and over. A great way to use your scraps, a great way to if you wanted to use all solids to be a little more modern. And I was looking at this block and I loved it so much. And I've been thinking, and it of course reminded me of St. Patrick's Day. And so I was thinking, what if I were to turn this block into a shamrock? So that is what I'm going to show you today. Is if you did a whirligig block or you want to do a whirligig block, I'm going to show you how to now make it into a shamrock block using the same block. Okay, you with me? All right, I'm not going to show you the finished project because we're going to kind of dissect it and see how it all comes together, the finishing piece. So I'm going to turn my sample upside down so that you can't see it. But yesterday we started out with 5-inch squares. Remember that? And we found the 2 and the 2 and we cut it on the line, right? Now, if you weren't with me yesterday and you'd like to learn how this comes together, then you can find it right here on our Facebook page. Just scroll down a few posts and you'll see it. You'll be able to, and you can even fast forward to theme number 2. Or you can go on our YouTube channel and it's got it there, but you can see how fast and easy this block was to come together, which was a lot of fun. So again, if you want to do this block over and over and over again, perfectly fine. It's going to be absolutely adorable. Love it. This we started out at 5-inch blocks. For today, when I do the shamrock, I'm going to take you down to 2.5 inches. You ready for that? Now, you could do the shamrock still this size. It's just going to be a lot bigger, but you'll see what I did here in a few minutes. Okay? So, are you ready for something super cute? Because everything smaller is cuter, right? Look how cute that is. So, this started out at 5 inches. This started out at 2.5. Okay? 2.5 inches is what this one did. So, 2.5-inch squares. Made it into the whirligig block by making those into a 4-patch, and there we go. And that's, my friends, is where I left off yesterday. So how are we going to do this? We're going to add small little white blocks at each corner. Some might refer to this as a snowball block. Okay, and you are familiar with this if you have put a little white square on each of the corners. You draw a line, okay, and you sew on that line. Or if you've been with me for a while, I always recommend you sew a titch off that line. I'll show you over at the sewing machine here in a minute, towards the corner. But you're going to sew that and then you bring it back on top of itself. Okay, so you have a trimmed corner. And for our shamrock, you're going to do it on, not on all 4 corners, you're going to do it on just 3 of the corners. So let's come over here to the sewing machine. Let me unplug this computer here and I'll show you how that's done. Okay. Try and get that set up for you. You can see my awful mess in the background. Okay, so today we have to sew from corner to corner, and I'm going to show you this wonderful item that what am I trying to say? this wonderful item so that I don't have to draw my lines. So have you seen this? I've showed this, oh, it's been a few months since I've talked about this. This is called diagonal seam tape from Cluck Cluck Sew. Okay. Bridget is asking, how far did you come in on the 2.5 inch block? I came in at 1.5 inches. Let me think. 2.5, no, 1 inch. 1 inch, not 1.5. 1 inch I came in on it. I'm going to write up a pattern. I just haven't yet. Okay, but I promise you I will. But if you want to do it right away, it is 1 inch is where I came in from. Okay. So Christy loves this tape. Beth loves the tape. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's one of those things I go, gosh, I wish I would have thought of that. So smart. It's washi tape, and it comes off. Hey, Miss Anville, it comes off on your machine. So you can take it on and off real easily and be able to throw it away, and you've got a whole roll of tape. It's going to last you forever, okay? So as you can see, it's got your 1/4 inch lines, and it has a red line going down the center. Okay, have you ever used this? No, I've never used that. Barb's never used this. So it's got a red line going down the center, okay? And we are going to use that red line to our advantage to sew these little squares onto our whirligig block. All right, so let's do that. So I'm going to place right sides together in the corner. I will place my block right here at the corner. And then I want to make sure, let's see if I can get up a little closer here. I'm going to place the opposite corner directly on the red line. If I'm going over this way, I'm not going to be able to sew down the middle. I want to make sure that the red line is at the corner here. And now I don't have to draw my lines on, which is really nice. Now, those of you who have like machines with lasers, this is what that is doing basically, okay? So now if you don't have a machine with a laser, try and pick up this tape, right? And now I have it from corner to corner and I can pull it back.
You use that on Thursday.
Yeah. You want to use that on Thursday?
I do. I've got a class on Thursday.
What's your class on Thursday?
The crescendo class.
Well, the crescendo has the glazer, my friend.
Oh, yeah, it does.
There we go.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Okay. That's right. But other classes, absolutely. It really is one of my favorite tools. So again, I'm starting at the corner and I'm going to go opposite. And as long as I'm following where that red line is, I'm good. And again, I didn't have to draw my lines on before, which is pretty awesome, right? Okay. Now, one more. So again, you're just going to do this on 3 corners, okay? Line it up. Make sure the corner is lined up with the red line all the way down, and there you go. The nice thing too with this tape is you also have a 1/4 inch seam line. So if you're doing a lot of, whether they're half square triangles or whatever, and or just trying to measure seams, and you have a larger piece, it's nice because this tape can go down as far as you want it to go down. The most important thing when lining up, I don't know if you may have realized this or not, but it's always important to not keep your eye on the needle, because once your eye is on the needle, it's almost too late to make adjustments. You make adjustments with your maneuvering your pieces down here. This is where the magic happens. Sometimes we think it's over here. But again, if we wait till we get to the point, it's too late. We got to make it work down here. And that's why another reason why I love that tape. Okay. So that's it. I did that on 3 corners. So what's the tape called? It's the diagonal seam tape. Okay. All right. So it's on the 3 corners. So what I'm going to do now is just pull these back with my iron, okay? So let me let me pull this out of the way. I'm going to set my seam and then pull it back. Let me get this a little closer. Okay, and the size block that I used, if you're going to end up doing this today before I get my little pattern put together for you, the size that is the white block is 1 1/4 inches. Okay, 1 1/4. So make sure and take note of that. 1 1/4. I started out with my green blocks were 2 1/2. These white squares are 1 1/4. All right. So now that I have it on 3 sides, I'm not doing it on all 4. I'm going to, I could take some scissors and trim off the backs because that I always do that with my snowball blocks. Once I make sure that they look good, right? You gotta make sure they look good, and you're going to trim the backings off. Okay. So how does this make a shamrock? You may be asking. Any ideas of what this is actually, how is this going to work? Let's see, I'm going to go through questions real quick. Ann Bill says she can never get her blocks to come out square when she's adding little blocks to the corners. Any advice? Yeah, I actually do have some advice, and that is rather than sewing directly on the line, instead, you're going to sew a titch towards the corner, okay? A titch towards the corner. Come over here. That's a little bit prettier view there. So when we sew directly on the line, you think about it, it takes up space, right? Thread takes up space. So oftentimes when you pull it back on top of itself, it actually comes just a little short from that corner, okay? And so by sewing just a scant, just a titch off of the line towards the corner, it's going to give you more room to bring it over, and you should have really beautiful looking corners. Does that help? So that is always like my number one tip when it comes to snowball blocks. Do not sew directly on the line. All the patterns you will see will always say, you know, sew directly on the line. Yeah, because that's kind of what we always say, right? We're always saying, but just a titch. Oh yeah, sorry if I use that word all the time. It's like 1 or 2 threads. It's like a scant. It's just a smidgen, okay? And so it's just a smidgen. And so when I line it up, I will kind of position my needle just a little bit over, okay? And then that's going to be the perfect the perfect scenario for you to be able to get that block pulled over all the way. Yeah, just like 1 thread, right? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay. So, did we have guesses? I think we had someone guess correctly. Yes, towards the corner, not towards the middle, towards the corner, for sure. Let's see. Yes, Pamela, you are correct. It is 1 leaf. That's right. So guess what? You're going to make, well, depending on how you want this to be, you're going to make 3 of these. Okay? So, we ready for the unveil of how this cute little block came together? So I did the same thing. And here is my cute little whatever. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. You can call it little wall hanging. You could put it on a little scrolly thingamajigger. But that is my shamrock. So you can see I have 1, 2, and where am I? 3. It's backwards here. 1, 2, 3. I did 3 of those and then put the little things on it. And then I had to make this into a 4-patch. So thank you guys. I'm so glad you like it. Then you make this into a 4-patch. So what do you think this white square is? I could have done like I could have sewn in and done it pieced, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to do the stem applique, because if I do it applique, then I can make it kind of wonky and big, and it's not going to be so straight. And you don't need a special ruler or anything like that to do your curves or whatever. So I just did a raw edge applique. So what I did was I sewed the top two together, and I sewed the bottom one, this bottom one, to a white square. So these end up being 3.5 inches. And then you sew it, add a white square so that you have your 4-patch. And then I just did a stem that I appliqued. And then of course I did a little dimensional bow, because how stinking cute is that? Like, I love, love, love doing dimensional bows. Have you guys done a dimensional bow before? Maybe I could show you that. I've got some time. Do you want me to show you how to do a dimensional bow? Anyone? Because they're really easy to do, and they're like super fast. So thank you. Alicia likes the little bow tie on it. I thought it was kind of fun. Now, if you wanted a 4-leaf clover, what do you think you would do? You would make 4 of them, right? So this is the 3-leaf clover, but if you wanted 4, then you would, you know, add that little whirligig block here, and the stem would be a little different, right? You'd have to do the stem like if you had a stem. You don't have to have a stem, but you would have a stem like down below. So I kind of threw this together today. I mean, I knew what in my mind yesterday. I said, yeah, I'm gonna add snowball blocks and make this into a shamrock. So I haven't put together a pattern, but I promise I will. Okay, I will do that. I just ran out of time, to be honest. So this would be a cute little mug rug. You know, you could make it into a little pillow. You could do a whole bunch of them, make them into a table runner. And again, you don't have to do this size. You could do bigger sizes. Like, let's say, for example, the whirligig block I did yesterday. This was a 5-inch size. So it's going to make your shamrocks a lot bigger, okay, because you're going to do 4 of these. Or 3 of these, I should say. But it'll be a lot bigger. But how cute would that be for St. Patrick's Day, for your table, for, you know, whatever? You could make you could make bigger ones of these and make them into a giant quilt if you wanted to. Okay? Oh, you guys want kits? Oh my goodness. Sometimes I create these things and I have no idea that well, you know, you just never know. Like, you hope people like them, but you never know. So you guys are very sweet. We could make kits out of this. This is Blossoms, by the way. You recognize that from Christopher Thompson. And then this green is just a solid green. And then the black and white dot is from Kimberbell. So, kind of fun. Yeah, you could put it on the front door, inside a wreath, some of you are saying, a bed runner. The large size would make a great table topper. Yeah, you could. You could do a giant shamrock and just one, and then you could have it. Oh my gosh, I still have my thing on. I'm just noticing. I had a doctor's appointment today, so therefore this. All right, let me get this pulled off. Like, what? I'm not wearing a white bracelet. Yeah, sheesh. Okay. Some of you, yeah, you're saying you want kits. Okay, I'll tell Cindy. I can't get this off. There we go. Get rid of that. I don't need that anymore. All right. You guys want to see a bow? We got time. Let's do a bow. Why not? Okay. Again, same technique no matter what you do. Let me pull you over to the cutting table and see what we can come up with. You're going to see my messy, messy cutting table here. By the way, is that the cutest thing? Cute Sandra here made all of us these little thingamajiggers for our masks. Okay, isn't that fun? That little fabric. Okie dokie. I don't know if we have enough of this. This is from my scraps, so I'll have to look. Okay, the bow on this. What did I cut it at? I think I cut it at 6 by, what did I do? 4 by 6, I think. Let's see. 1, 2, yeah, 4 by 6 inches is what I did this one at. So let me just do that right there. Okay, so just remember, again, whatever size you want to do this, it's kind of like it's going to be folded in half and in half again. So you play with this different size dimensions you want. If you want the same size bow as I did, which this is the one I'll write in the instructions, this is a 4 by 6. Okay, so what you do is you fold it over with right sides together and you're going to stitch down here. So let's do that. This is so easy. You guys are gonna just die. All right, so fold it in half, right sides together. I'm creating a tube. I'm gonna push her foot down. Okay, and cut my threads. And then I'm just gonna turn it right side out. This is small enough that, you know, you'll be okay doing it without a special tool. If it was any longer, I would probably be using my loop turner for sure, but this is small enough, you're okay. Okay. All right, so I have my tube made, right? Just like this. All you're going to do is, notice I have a seam in the back. I'm going to fold in half one more time, right sides together. Okay, not wrong sides, or not the back side. I should say there's a back side because you have a seam. You want the one without the seam to be pressed in half. Okay, hamburger wise. And now we're going to just stitch this together. Seriously, this is the easiest seam. It takes, whoops, takes like two stitches, 2 seams. Okay, there we go. I did that. I'm going to just turn it right side out. Here we go. Let me get this up here, and it looks like this. You just pinch it down. That's it. And you've got your little bow tie. Woohoo! And then what I did on this one was I took another scrap of fabric, the black. I took a black piece of fabric that was left over from this and I just tied it around. Okay. And that's how easy a bow tie is. Isn't that fun? So if I can add a bow tie to something, I do, because I just think they're just so fun. Look, gonna add it to my hair. That's how easy it is, guys. So, okay. All righty. Let's see. What size did you cut the slant for the whirligig greens after they are 2.5 inch square? I did it at 1 1/4. No, 1 inch. Oh my gosh. I promise I'll get this all written down. So, 1 inch is what I cut the slant at for the 2.5. Then, now remember, we talked about this yesterday. If you are going to sew the 2 pieces together on the whirligig, you have to then square it up before you put it into the 4 patch, right? And so you can square it up. Kathy, I think you mentioned, can you square it up later? You could do that too. But you're going to square it up to 2 inches because now the 2.5 is now, we need to now square it up to 2. So you're going to have 2 2-inch squares coming together, which is 4. That's why when you bring it all together, it ends up being 3.5. I promise it'll be on the instructions. And I'll just give that to you guys for free. There's going to be no charge. I just got to write it. I just got to get it done. All right. So, did you make your mask lanyard? I didn't, Casey, but Sandy did. Or Sandra did for me. Isn't that cute? She had all these different things of ribbon, and she was making them for everyone here, which is kind of nice. How big is the white square on the block you made yesterday? 5 inches. All of the squares were 5 inches. Okay, so that's what you do. What other questions do you have? Yeah, you could put a button there. You don't have to do it as, if you put a button, you would want to tie it first with something, thread, something like that. Tie it so that it pinches, and then you could put a button on top. It would be super cute. So, and yes, the white blocks at the corners were 1 1/4 inches that I did on this one. Okay. So Bonnie asked me to do several sizes on the instructions. Okay, I can do that. I can certainly do that if you want to do this size. And this ends up being, and then I added, let's see, I added a 1 1/4 inch border. What does this end up being? This ends up being 8 inches, an 8 by 8. Okay, so yeah, a glue gun. Yeah, glue gun works. You wanna see how I attached this today? Because I was in a hurry. A pin. There you go. There you have it. It's with a pin. Hey, it works. There you go. Let's see. The big box you can make a pillow out of. Absolutely. Yep. Terry Joe, the white squares in the corner are 1 1/4. All right. What other questions do we have? Yes, Alice, the date changed. The Fat Quarter Friends tutorial that I'm going to be teaching this month is this coming Friday, okay, at 10 o'clock. We are, for those of you in Fat Quarter Friends box, we're going to send you the pattern through email so that you can follow along, but it's really going to be more of a tips and tricks. It's not a sewing along thing, okay? Because you may choose not to use your fat quarter box in that way. We always give you a pattern of what you could do with the fat quarters in that box, but you don't have to. And a lot of people will choose, they just like the fabric, and so they'll use it for other projects or whatever. So the pattern is just like that bonus to say, hey, I've got a fun pattern in here. I could use these if I want to, but I don't have to, and I could use it with another fat quarter box or whatever it might be. So that's why it's just, again, mostly a tips and tricks I'm going to be sharing with you on how the block comes together, and I'm super excited about it. So all right, let's see, what other questions do we have? Judy says, do you need a fork for the bow or a friend? Yeah, exactly. I need a friend. Kris needs a friend. Oh, that's funny, Judy. All right. Pill would be great. Yeah, you were wondering about my new jewelry. Oh, yeah, with the hospital band. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Large size, great table topper. Yeah, inside everything. Okay, I think I've just catching that. The box ships out tomorrow, Utah. It ships out tomorrow. Thanks, you guys. Open the green doors and we will come. Ah, Janine. Love you, lady. Okay. Yeah, Kim, it would be 2.5 inches. Everything I did today was just half size from yesterday. So this is a half size from this. Okay? So, all right. Ah, thanks, Ann Bill. You're so sweet. Hey, speaking of Ann Bill, she's coming back to teach. Yay! I'm so excited. So she is going to be teaching. In fact, we're going to show it off tomorrow night at Comments Sold. It is a darling to die for darling quilt. I can't remember the name of the quilt. But it's from the Chex Mix book. If any of you have seen the Chex Mix book, and they're flowers, and they are so stinking cute. Oh my gosh. It's the cover of the Chex Mix book, and you guys are going to die. It is so cute. So we're going to be sharing that tomorrow and selling kits on Comments Sold. So check out for that. If we did kits on this, would you guys want kits for this size, or would you want bigger? I don't know. Yeah, the email for Fat Quarter class is at 1 o'clock. Friday at 1 o'clock. Okay. What other questions do we have? All right. Oh, you know what? I just realized. By the way, let me just fill something out real quick. Okay, what other questions? Kits for that size, you're thinking? I guess you could do kits for this size, and then if you wanted it, some of you are saying bigger, larger for wall hanging. Maybe what you could do is kits for this size, and then if you want to make it bigger, you buy multiple kits? I don't know. Maybe I could do 2 different kits. Maybe I should do that. We'll figure something out. Okay.